Chapter 5 talks about major scales and keys, a very important topic for us and a little complicated, but we'll get it. Starting with the word scale. A scale is a set of notes, in our tradition usually 8 notes, and they're mostly made up of whole steps. Occasionally the notes are a half step apart. Notice that there's one of each letter: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And because this scale starts on C, we call this a C scale. Because it has half steps in these particular places, it is a C major scale. And it has a certain sound. In fact, let's hear the C major scale. Remember we said there was a half step here and here. That happens to be the 3rd note to the 4th note, the 7th note to the 8th note. And that's what gives it the major scale sound. On C major, it's very easy to see that because there's no black key between these two and these two. So that's where the half steps are. 1, 2, 3 to 4 is a half step. 5, 6, and 7 to 8 is a half step. And we can go back down. 8 to 7 is a half step. 6, 5, 4 to 3 is a half step, and a whole step, and a whole step. Now, here again, there's one of every letter. Scale comes from the Italian word scala, which means steps. So you go up one step at a time for a scale. And what I just played, you heard right here. In fact, what you really heard was this, because I went up here and I stopped on the top note and waited for a bit, came down and held out the last note. That's what this symbol means, that I should sustain that note longer. It's called a fermata. You might have heard it called a bird's eye sometime. A fermata is actually Italian for stop or wait. If you go down the streets of Rome, you'll see a sign that says fermata every few blocks. The first time I saw that, I was very confused. It actually means that's the bus stop. That's where you wait. So these are fermatas. That's where you wait. Scales are really common in music. Sometimes we just completely state the scale in its total context, like this Boccherini music that you hear. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a major scale. Or a lot of you maybe know this Christmas carol, Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. That completely traces the major scale as it goes down. Now, as I just sung that, and when I played it, you might notice that the scale doesn't sound complete until you hit that top note. That note is called the tonic note. It's also the bottom note, and that gives the scale a feeling of completion, or that it's reached its home, and that's part of the relationship of all these half steps and whole steps to give it that. So a scale is named after its tonic note, C. C is the first note of this scale. It's the main note. It's called the tonic note. So here's tonic, and here's tonic also. We also could call them by numbers, though. Tonic is the first scale degree, so it can be degree 1 or tonic. And all these guys have names too. We'll talk about those in just a moment, but let's talk about the numbers for a second. If we know the number of each of these notes, we could indicate a melody just from the numbers. Like right here, we're in the key of C major. G is the 5th note, C the 1st, the 2nd is D, 3rd is E, 4th is F. So this really could tell us what the melody is, just like that. We don't usually use that to indicate the music, but we use it in theory class. Now this text, and many textbooks, likes to use this inverted V that perhaps you can see in your copy of the script of the text better. It's called a caret. You see it there. And we know when we see that with an Arabic number that we're talking about scale degrees, because we will use numbers to indicate other things later on. So just this right here, C major, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1. If I just saw that, I would know, oh, that means G, C, D, E, F, G in the key of C major. As I mentioned, the scale degrees don't just have numbers, they also have names. We already heard that 1 is tonic. Remember, this is 1 again, tonic. 2 is supertonic, meaning above the tonic. 3 is mediant. 4 subdominant. 5 dominant. 6 submediant. 7 leading tone. And 1 again, tonic. And you need to memorize those. Those are very important. Tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, and tonic.